Have you ever been to a place where you are going through a lot? You have like some challenges going on around you that you are really feeling like you want to give up, you want to quit. Been there, done that. Been through so much as far as like the '08, '09 crash where I lost everything and I had to persevere. I had to push through in order to get to the other side. So what I want to do is I want to tell you a little bit about what happens when you're in that storm that you need to persevere and what could do. So how to actually persevere the right way. That's what I want to talk to you about. Because I don't know where you're at. You might be doing very well or you might not. But whatever you're going, life runs with cycle. What I mean by that is the cycle goes this way. Sometimes you're doing well, and the next thing you know, you're going to have chaos. Usually, when you start something, something chaotic will go after you. So it's just a pattern of life. So I think the very first thing that you don't want to do is focus on your circumstances. The first thing, or focus on your surrounding when you are going through something, let's say it was just a financial struggle and your business not doing well or you're not doing well. So you're all you know, you're focusing on that thing called bank account. And the more you focus on it, the more you focus on what you're losing versus gaining or where create having a creative mindset, then things starts to actually you start to look more of those things. So that's the first thing that you don't want to do. The second thing, you don't want to fix yourself, fix your source in the wrong source, fix your focus into the wrong source. Meaning this, a lot of times what we do is we rely on our own thinking, our own feelings, and our own understanding while we're going through something. So a struggle. So what does that look like? So now your mind is going to give you a speech. Well, you should quit. This is not good. This is not what you're supposed to do. God doesn't want you to do this. So you're going to have all these negative script speech in your mind telling you to quit, telling you to give up, telling you this is the wrong path, this is whatever. So you're going to have that critic inside your head pushing you to just surrender and not give up and give up. Sorry. So that's what I'm talking about. So, and when I talk to you about your strength, for me, I focus on God being my strength. I lean into God because I lean not into my own understanding because my own understanding usually leads me to the rocks. It leads me to quit. It leads me to take a shortcut. And this is what usually we take shortcuts. We try to either overeat, we do anything to actually stop ourselves from feeling the pain and the pressure, right? And that short-term release. It could be food, could be overworking, could be just worrying, could be using, drugs or smoking or drinking. It could be anything that would alleviate that stress. But that's when you rely on your own strength. And then the second thing that happens, or the third thing that happens, you either fly, fight, flee, or you run away. What and that right there is the transformation is happening and you're running away from that transformation. You will either fight, you will freeze, or you will flee from your transformation. Why? Because it's too painful and you want to run, you know? And that's usually what happens. And the problem with all of this that happen is you start to settle in life. And when you settle after being a fighter, before after overcoming, you're going to settle and then your life will become stagnant. And you know it. You know what I'm talking about. You feel it. You feel like, man, I am I used to be more faithful. I used to take more risk, but now I'm just settling. I want to play it safe. And when you play it safe after you've been through a lot and you've quit a few times, stagnation comes in. And you know it. You know inside of you you could do more, but you don't, right? And then the next thing we do, as I said before, we look for a shortcut, something more safer. So you'll settle for a job when you were pursuing your business. You will settle for a struggling relationship. You will settle for anything that doesn't push you anymore because you already stopped, right? And then lastly, your struggle is going to be to hold on to stay in control. And when you stay in control, you cannot be in surrender. And as you know, when I'm holding on to something like this, I'm not surrendering. I'm not holding, I'm not, letting it go. And then when you don't let go, you just hold on to your old saying. And holding on to the same doesn't change anything, right? Actually pushes changes away. All right. So what are some of the things that we can do in order for us to push through? The very first thing, you need to consider a new perspective. Consider a new perspective in your circumstances. What does that mean? Perspective is how you look at things. You know what I mean? You may look at things going really, really bad. These are really, really bad things going on right now. But could it be a process of transformation? Could your problem be a process of transformation? What if you could look at all the problems that you have, all the failures that you have, as a process of purification and a process of transformation? How about that? That could be a really good way to look at something is inside of me is going to be coming out and making me stronger from this process. The second thing you want to do, you want to complete the progress or the process through your challenge. You want to persevere basically through your challenge. You want to complete that persevering process through your challenge. Why? Because something is brewing, something is growing, something is changing inside of you. And if you don't connect with that, you will quit through that process. See, that process of purification, that process of persevering has to happen in order for you to become the butterfly. I'm sure you heard the caterpillar that's struggling along and looking at other butterfly going, man, I wish I was. But he has to go through that struggle, through the cocoon in the dark, and push through so his wing could fly, right? But if he quits, he'll never be the butterfly. And I think some of us have quit and we're not being the butterfly. Now we look at other butterfly and compare ourselves to other people that are striving and flying, where we're still here resisting, fleeing and fighting and free, so and fighting a transformation. And lastly, what we want to do is you want to commit to becoming mature and complete. You want to commit to becoming that person that is mature and complete because that's the end result anyways. Completion and maturity only comes through trials, tribulation, and perseverance. Let me say that again. Completion of what you want to accomplish in your life, inside of you and outside of you. And you want to be mature. You want to be able to overcome these emotional quit or emotional reaction that you have, or this emotional storm that pulls you down. You want to stop that. Well, you need to go through some trial because that trial will give you that transformation. But you need to persevere because if you don't, you still stay the same and struggle. Let me give you a story of someone that was actually he picked up this company, and all that company did is sell coffee bean. And I think you probably know what I'm talking about. But when he picked up this company, or when he was a part of this company, he got a bunch of resistance, right? There was people didn't see his vision. And this is, what I'm talking about, right? Schwartz, the CEO of Starbucks. But the interesting thing that I found is that if he only focused on his surrounding, the same people, guess what? He would have settled. And what they were fighting him for is like, hey, you know what? We sell beans. We don't sell beverage. But he pushed through. So he had to go find other investor that had his vision in mind. So sometimes you have to get out of your little group and go find some people that have your same vision. The second thing that he did, he actually didn't fix on the situation. He had changed, like remember I said, consider your perspective. He had to move. He actually left Cali or United States and he went to Italy to study out coffee. I didn't even know that. I'm like, wow, this dude really went after it. Why? Because he had a different perspective. See, he didn't want to just sell beans. He didn't want to settle. He wanted to have an experience, and he focused on his client experience. And it wasn't just and then Starbucks blew up, but in 2008, 2009, I just shared with you guys that I lost a whole bunch of real estate at that time. I actually almost went homeless with my family because I lost all this real estate. You know what he did? He didn't cut down all of his employees. He actually retained some, closed some store, retained as much as he possibly could. But one of the things he never compromised was the value that he brings with his own employee. Starbucks is known for what? First of all, it's all over the world, but it is known for how they take care of their client. Well, of course, customers as well, but their clients. I mean, their employees. So think about that. He is definitely taking care, and he created value within his company. So that's the transformation. He's more mature, he's more complete. He connected with the value that's inside of him, and he was able to give that value to other people outside of him. You see, but he needed to go through that transformation. It wasn't easy. He had to go through the transformation. He had to consider his perspective. He had to complete the persevere through the challenge, like all those people that try to tell him to settle. And that's the same thing we've got to do. It's the same process for all of us. See, success and failure have the same process. One is counteractive, meaning that quitting versus pushing, right? So you either persevere or you pause, right? And when you pause, you usually stay there for a long, long, long time. But perseverance causes you to transform. Pausing causes you to reform and run away, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. Do please comment and share. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what you got out of this one. Thank you so much for watching.